Hello everybody, this is Cap here, and I'd like to welcome you to the first video in my Visual Basic tutorial series. So in this video we are just going to get you set up with an IDE, make a small little program, and then show you a really nice resource that you can use throughout the series. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up your web browser of choice. Go to the following link, which I will put in the description, and then from here you can just click this button and download Visual Studio, which can take a while depending on your internet speeds. So after you have that downloaded, open up Visual Studio, go to New Project, Visual Basic, and then Windows Forms application. And I'm just going to name mine First Project. Click OK. Alright, and then here we are. So one of the things that I really like about Visual Basic is that you don't really have to worry that much about making the user interface. It is extremely easy to do, especially when you compare it to other languages like C++ and Java. In Visual Studio, anyways, it's really as easy as dragging and dropping the components that you want. So for our small little program we're going to have here, we're going to use 3 text boxes, so I'll just grab a text box, drag it over, just kind of pull that out a little bit, and then I'm going to Control C and Control V to paste that text box twice. There we go. And then we are going to need a button. So there's a button, just drag it over, drop it. So a very important thing that you need to remember is to name your components, especially text boxes and buttons. So in order to do that, you're going to click on it and then go over here to Properties and then scroll through and find Name, and then change that to something that you'll remember. So I'm going to say txt since this is a text box, and then I'm going to say num1, and then for this one, there it is, say txt num2, and then for this one I'm going to say txt result. So for the button, we're going to want to change the name, say btn, well, say mult. And we're also going to want to change the text, because we don't want it to say button 1. Up here, and we'll just say calculate. And it's as simple as that. We now have a very simple user interface. So the goal of this program is to take 2 numbers and multiply them together and output the result in this text box. So we can actually do all this and only have to write 1 line of code. And we can do that by double clicking on the button, which will take us to the procedure that runs when the button is clicked. And then inside here we are going to type txt result, because this is the text box that we want to put our result into. And then we're going to say dot text, because we are wanting to access the text of the txt result text box, and then we want to assign that to val, which is a function that will take the character string and turn it into a numeric value, because anything that we get out of a text box it assumes is a character string. So we're wanting to basically convert that into the number equivalent, I guess you could say. And we're going to get the first value from txt num1, which is the first text box, and we want to get the text from that, and we want to multiply it by val again, and then txt num2 dot text, and that's it. That's all we really should have to do in order to make this program work like we want it to. And don't worry if you don't quite understand all this here. You will in the next few tutorials, especially once we get into like functions and that sort of thing. So save it and then hit start, and this should run your program. Alright, there we go. So let's take 5 times 5, calculate 25, and it was that easy, guys. So another thing we're going to do here to make your life a lot easier is go up to Tools, go down to Options, and under General you can pick from a few different color themes. I like dark just because it's easier on my eyes. And then after you adjust your theme and all that, go down to Text Editor and then find Basic, and then click Line Numbers and Automatic Brace Completion if it's not already selected, and then just click OK. So that gives us line numbers. Well, we won't really need the braces for Visual Basic, but I usually just do it anyways, just because it's a habit. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in Visual Studio for this tutorial anyways. And the last thing here is I'm going to show you MSdn, which is Microsoft Developer Network. So if you're watching my tutorials and I use a function that you don't quite understand or I don't explain quite well enough, you can come to MSdn and go up into the search and then search that function, and it should come up with a nice description and a description of the parameters that are passed in and all that kind of stuff. So for the val function here, which we just used, as a description that says returns a numeric or currency value from a character expression composed of numbers. So that's a pretty good description of what it does. It took our character expression, which was composed of numbers, from the text box and returned a numeric value that we used to multiply together to get our result. So that's really all I wanted to cover in this video. If you guys like this video, please let me know by hitting the like button. And if you've seen a few of my videos, or you just want to stay up to date on when I post new ones, go ahead and subscribe. And I would like to thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.